Our programs offer many languages. Please visit suprememastertv.com/schedule.
Nos programmes offrent plusieurs langues. Veuillez visiter suprememastertv.com/schedule.
Nuestros programas ofrecen varios idiomas. Visiten suprememastertv.com/schedule.
Unsere Sendungen bieten viele Sprachen. Gehen Sie auf suprememastertv.com/schedule.
The summer of 2022 was the hottest on record for Europe and China, the second hottest for North America and Asia, and the fifth hottest June to August period for planet Earth since record keeping began in 1880. Extreme weather events in 2022 caused by climate change, part 1 of 4. Continue watching to find out more.
Throughout Japanese history, several emperors who sought to encourage Buddhism issued edicts prohibiting the consumption of meat. A traditional Buddhist diet uses soybean products, particularly tofu, as the main source of protein. The Venerable Kōyū Inama began.
Dohichu, kind-hearted viewers. That means how are you in the Cherokee indigenous language. My name is Atohi. The thoughtful people of the Cherokee Nation wish that all beings will soon realize the urgent situation our planet is in and adopt the benevolent vegan lifestyle to save the world from further disasters triggered by climate change. Welcome to our show, Extreme Weather Events in 2022 Caused by Climate Change, Part 1 of 4. The world is heating up and natural disasters have been occurring more frequently and intensely. Scientists have been warning us about the impact of climate change on specific extreme weather events such as hurricanes, typhoons, floods, wildfires, and heat waves, and it will only get worse until we all take action. On today's program, we highlight extreme weather events that occurred around the world in 2022 due to climate change. In 2022, many parts of the world went through scorching summer days when the temperature hit record highs. According to the U.S. National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration's National Centers for Environmental Information report, the summer of 2022 was the hottest on record for Europe and China, the second hottest for North America and Asia, and the fifth hottest June to August period for planet Earth since record-keeping began in 1880. In the U.S., dozens of cities reported record-breaking temperatures. Extreme heat waves had devastating effects, such as causing deaths and intensifying droughts and wildfires.
London is burning. Rare wildfires broke out across the British capital as it broiled in its hottest day in history. Drivers took in an unprecedented scene as flames consumed homes.
What we're seeing here, this kind of fire and this scale of fire has just shocked residents. But this record-breaking heat hitting 104 degrees along with this tinderbox condition has just made all of this possible.
Climate change isn't just a thing over there, it's here.
Yes, I mean, we used to look at polar bears. And then we used to say, this is about our children and our grandchildren. This isn't. This is us. This is here. This is now.
Today, European countries battled more blazes, more than 30 in Spain alone. French firefighters struggled to contain a wildfire burning an area twice the size of Paris. And Portugal upped its toll to more than 1,000 heat-related deaths.
No official record exists, but it's estimated that thousands of people have died as 21 countries across Europe endured unusually high temperatures amid an unprecedented and prolonged heat wave during the summer of 2022. Spain's Ministry of Health reported that more than 1,000 people died in this year's second heat wave as temperatures topped 40 degrees Celsius. France's National Statistics Institute believes heat waves are likely to have caused more than 11,000 deaths in France this summer between July and August. Dry, hot weather also caused a melted glacier to collapse in Italy, killing 11 people. A warning from the European Commission Joint Research Centre, or ECJRC, says that the current drought could be the worst in 500 years. An extended period of unusually high temperatures and severe lack of rainfall makes an ongoing drought more intense. Across Europe, lakes, streams, and reservoirs are shrinking. According to the Global Drought Observatory, 47% of the continent lacks soil moisture, adversely affecting vegetation. In China, the most extreme heat wave on record and one of its lowest levels of rainfall in 61 years for 2 straight summer months caused forest fires and affected power supplies. Severe drought caused China's largest freshwater lake to be reduced to just 25% of its usual size and damaged crops. Work crews had to dig trenches to keep water flowing to one of the country's vital rice-growing regions to save the crops. China's neighboring country Japan also sweltered under the hottest day yet of its worst heat wave in almost 150 years. In the United States of America, hundreds of millions of residents endured extremely hot summer days as record temperatures swept across the country.
Some parts of the U.S. reaching supremely sweltering levels. Parts of California, the Central Plains, and Texas, with highs ranging from 105 to 113. Those particularly vulnerable to heat-related illness, children and the elderly.
The heat is undefeated against those who are unprepared and don't take it seriously.
In some communities, emergency responders inundated with calls and overwhelmed.
He's now kind of really suffering from maybe heat exhaustion. He's really struggling.
Throughout the Dallas area,
are your AC working properly?
Police officers checking in on older residents as the county works overtime to provide AC units to low-income families, installing some 150 units in just the last 2 weeks. The blistering heat wave blanketing the U.S. continues to crank out record temperatures. 2 out of every 3 Americans experiencing heat above 90 degrees. Some cities setting new daily highs. Dallas at 109, Albuquerque at 102, and Wichita Falls, Texas, a whopping 115. While Americans try anything to weather the onslaught, tonight unrelenting heat in Texas is testing the state's energy consumption, which is expected to swell to levels never seen before, using equipment that in some cases dates back half a century.
Vegan side effect. Can't remember when your spouse last opposed you.
Discerning viewers, will take a moment now to hear an important message and be back shortly. Please stay tuned to Supreme Master Television. Welcome back to our show, Extreme Weather Events in 2022 Caused by Climate Change, Part 1 of 4.
In California's San Joaquin Valley, these are days of hard choices for farmers.
We had to cut out actually a couple of crops, and we've had to cut back on our melon program.
Joe Del Bosque has operated his farm since 1985.
This, I think, is the worst year we've ever had.
Water officials believe the past 3 years could end up as the driest in California's history.
I look out here and I see a beautiful day by the lake. What do you see when you look at this?
I see a dangerously low reservoir. I mean, we are at ground zero for the California drought.
The state's reservoirs are alarmingly low. This is Lake Castaic, north of Los Angeles, now sitting at 53% capacity. To give you some perspective, in good times, the water should be nearly to the top of that dam.
Well, the last measurements are pretty grim. We have a lot less snowpack than we've had in the past due to hotter winter temperatures. And then due to hotter spring and summer temperatures, more of that snow is either absorbing into very dry soils or evaporating into warm air.
Just this week, a water supplier to 6 million Southern Californians declared an emergency, severely limiting non-essential water use. The drought impacting parched farmlands and American dinner tables.
Tomatoes, sweet corn, melons, things that we would normally have at the stores aren't going to be grown in the quantity this year than we're used to.
California provides 2/3 of the U.S. supply of fruits and nuts. Farmer Bill Diedrich grows tomatoes, but not now.
No tomatoes this year because this water has got to be put to use on other crops that for us is less risky.
It was not only hot in the summer this year. This spring, heat waves smashed records in India and Pakistan. While its total toll is yet unknown, the heat wave has already taken at least 90 lives. The period of prolonged heat fueled forest fires, deprived millions of power, and caused up to 35% lower wheat yields in India. Pakistan, meanwhile, experienced the world's highest March temperature and an unusually dry month with 62% less rainfall than usual. The consequences of the 2022 heat wave in Pakistan are more devastating than people thought. It triggered an extreme glacial lake outburst in the country's northern area. After months of droughts from June to August 2022, Pakistan next received a total of 390.7 millimeters of rain, nearly 190% more than its 30-year average. Significant rainfall during the 2022 monsoon season and the glacial lake outburst caused devastating floods and landslides affecting millions of Pakistanis.
They've been called the worst floods in Pakistan's history by the country's Prime Minister. 1/3 of the nation's land is underwater. So what has caused these floods to be so bad, and how have people been affected? An estimated 33 million people have been impacted by these floods, and over 1,500 people have died. Each of Pakistan's 4 provinces have been affected, but the southern states of Sindh and Balochistan have been hit the hardest. Roads, bridges, and key infrastructure have been left underwater. These satellite images show towns and cities completely submerged. Communities have been totally cut off and left without food and drinking water. But these floods will have lasting effects to come. Many crops have been totally wiped out, including 45% of cotton. Pakistan's planning minister says that it will cost around $10 billion to rebuild the country. Now, Pakistan has experienced flooding before, but not to this extent. So why is it so bad this time? The Indus River, which runs through the country from the north in the Himalayas down into the Arabian Sea, is actually prone to flooding in the months of July and August. But this is unprecedented, and one reason why is rising temperatures. Now, Pakistan is home to more than 7,000 glaciers, more than any country in the world outside the North and South Poles. Now, these rising temperatures are causing the glaciers to melt, forming glacial lakes. Around 3,000 have already formed, and officials are warning that 33 of them are close to bursting. A second factor is Pakistan's monsoon season, which started earlier than normal this year. It's been dubbed the monster monsoon. Sindh province has had nearly 8 times more rain than normal this year, and Balochistan province has had 5 times its normal level. Pakistan is the 8th most vulnerable country in the world to extreme weather, and melting glaciers caused by rising temperatures can be attributed to global warming.
The deadly flooding displaced over 400,000 people and left 6.4 million in need of humanitarian aid. Having escaped from the floods, people now face food shortages and diseases. Waterborne diseases, diarrhea, skin diseases, and eye infections were reported to have spread at relief camps set up by the government across the country. We pray for Pakistan and countries worldwide to quickly act to mitigate global warming by adopting a vegan diet and a sustainable lifestyle as advised by our beloved Supreme Master Ching Hai.
Now we have also a record heat. The past decade has twice, at least, seen the hottest average annual temperatures ever recorded in our planet's history. Next, we have drought, desertification. In Nepal and Australia, wildfires this year have been severely intensified by drought conditions. In Africa, people in Somalia, Ethiopia, and Sudan, to name just a few, have been crippled by drought. According to the United Nations, desertification, which often results from felling too many trees and damages that occurs from such activities as cattle people grazing, is affecting the well-being of more than 1.2 billion people in more than 100 countries at risk. Precious freshwater supplies are also drying up, such as aquifers under the major cities of Beijing, Delhi, Bangkok, and dozens of other regions, such as the Midwestern United States, while the river Ganges, Jordan, Nile, and Yangtze have been reduced to a trickle for much of the year. In China, worst drought in 5 decades. Vital crops were lost in at least 12 northern provinces, costing the nation billions of US dollars in drought relief to farmers with losses. We have enough with problems, but we have solutions to this problem. It might not be that early, but it's still not too late. We still can rescue our home, planet home. Okay, number 1 solution is vegan, organic vegan. Veganism will save our world.
All information concerning the scientific evidence of climate change and its solution is in Supreme Master Ching Hai's book, From Crisis to Peace, free for download at crisistopeace.org.
Vegan. Can't believe you're so healthy. Yes, you can.
Concerned viewers, thank you for your company today. Please join us again for part 2 of Extreme Weather Events in 2022 Caused by Climate Change on Monday, October 31st. Coming up next is Stefan Lamar, vegetarian, defender of animal people, part 2 of 2, right after Noteworthy News. May the divine always fill your days with happiness.
Our programs offer many languages. Please visit suprememastertv.com/schedule and suprememastertv.com/PE.